Alex, PWHL Minnesota had 9 days to celebrate the Walter Cup, and then just have been embroiled in controversy ever since. Natalie Darwitz was ousted as GM of PWHL Minnesota. All the teams owned by the league, by the way, which is why that's why this was a league decision, not a team decision. And in the most recent interviews, and I know you had one from the Rink Live that you tuned into that had some more interesting stuff in it as well. Michael Russo on Sunday with Dan Barrero. It sounds like this was a pretty substantial power struggle between Darwitz and Ken Klee, and this wasn't something that like just came up out of nowhere. This has been going on for most of the season, and it came to drawing lines in the sand. And the loudest voices in support of Ken Klee were some of the veteran players that basically had the most sway and the most influence, which is why it ended up being Klee that won out as opposed to Darwitz.
Yeah, the crazy thing too that we just found out too more recently, he interviewed for the GM job too before Darwitz got it. So there's clearly a push, from that side of things that he wants total power, which it's frustrating. I've been really upfront about this. I've talked a lot about it on Twitter. It's where's the transparency from the league, and now there could be NDAs involved now too, but it was 1-year contracts too for everybody in this league too, which makes no sense. That's gonna be frustrating to go just year by year for a league that's brand new. You would think they could try to get some security for these people that are in the league, but it's just really too bad because this team won a championship, and it's this state has been asking for one of their sports teams to have a championship and have ongoing success, and to have this turmoil happen days after they win a title. It's like I said, it's really frustrating. And Natalie advocated for this team so much more than a lot of the teams. I mean, they were the only team in the league to play in an NHL facility and have all those amenities, and so it's like could you imagine they could be playing somewhere else. They could be playing in a high school rink, or somewhere not nowhere near what the X brings. And so it was really cool that they got to experience that and continue to do that because of Natalie, and she built this team from scratch. Could you imagine doing that? That is not easy. And you have to draft right. And that's all on Natalie Darwitz. And she's been a winner wherever she's been, and so, I feel really bad. I hope, hope she can land on her feet somewhere again soon. She's a legend. I'm from Egan, where she grew up, and she was a legend, watching growing up, and cool to represent Egan, Minnesota, wherever she's gone. So, I hope I wish her the best as well. And this is going to be interesting, going forward here too, because if they don't win the Walter Cup this season, this is on the group that pushed her out. This is what you wanted. Now, will you have the same success? Time will tell.
Well, and it's interesting too, because it almost it feels like the PWHL just kind of wanted to see how things went in year one before they committed to anything long term.
And the weird thing too, so this is the only market that had issues. Like, what? They did reviews of every team, and the team that won it had the issues. That doesn't seem right. And the fact that they had to hire a consulting firm, which I'm sure cost hundreds of thousands, and even
it's not cheap.
Yeah, not cheap. And even they told the league, which I thought would be the opposite, but they told the league, "Hey, mediate this." But the league went against what the consulting firm told them, which is really bizarre. It's like, why did you even hire this consulting firm then. It's the lack of information, them taking forever to make a statement, this, dropping at, almost midnight on Thursday night was bizarre too. They just are not handling it very well. And which is, kind of surprising because the guy that, owns this league is the Dodgers owner. And he owns the Chelsea Football Club too in England. And, just like how is this how is this happening for a guy that owns multiple, teams in a league? It just it makes the leadership look really bad for sure.
Yeah, it's not the type of traction you want from a PR standpoint. No. After your first season was pretty widely viewed as a success.
The attendance everywhere was, they smashed records, and like you said, they are going to have to climb their way out of this one. And the awkward thing is the draft is today and in St. Paul, and Klee is going to be acting, GM, and help the rest of the coaching staff is going to help, with picking names, but that's awkward. Now they have to, figure out what they're going to do as a GM. If they make him the GM, people are going to be outraged. So they better look outside and look outside the organization for the GM spot.
Well, and from what I was reading too, it sounds as though they're going to be picking somebody to handle that role. And so this kind of leads me back to too, because remember the original head coach of PWHL Minnesota resigned like 10 days before the season started. So connect the dots. This to me feels like a situation where a coach was put in for this team that Darwitz was not they just did not get along, and it just built up throughout the season, and it led to a point where there just was an impasse that couldn't be broached.
Yeah, it's super awkward that resolved. with this league where the owner of the league, the league is the one making decisions. I don't know how. I mean that seems like it would have to be very difficult for Natalie. And I've been seeing a lot online too that people said that she rubs people the wrong way. She wins. She does whatever it takes to win. That. I mean, isn't that the point of being in professional sports too? Is to win. And I'd take her any day of the week on a team to run it. So yeah, that's frustrating just because of everything she did to help this team grow and win, and making in-season trades and signings too. And that's all on Natalie. I mean, sure, the coach did a lot too, but Natalie was the one that picked the team
she put it together
from scratch. So she deserved a whole lot better. And the more and more that comes out from the league, it just they're creating more issues than solving the problem.
And to kind of wrap this full circle, it's far from over. Like,
no, this is going to continue. We know the writers in this town. They don't give up. They might be stopped in the short term, but they'll get to the bottom of it. No doubt about it. The Athletic, as we know, Joe and Mike are the best of the best. We're very fortunate to have them, and I know the Rink Live will stick on this with Jess Myers and Rachel with the Star Tribune. I mean, these are phenomenal reporters, so they will eventually get to the bottom of it.
They'll get what they need.
And it's so unfortunate too, after all the drama that we've had with the Wild, to have it deal on the women's side too. It's like, what is going on in this town with leadership and leagues? It's crazy.
Just a shame, but we'll keep an eye on it as things unfold. And another part of Locked On Wild 2.0, we will have consistent PWHL coverage for you throughout the season, We got Alexis locked in for that, so really excited to have her on regularly to talk PWHL Minnesota next season and beyond, and to recap the draft. We'll have her back on once the dust is all settled there too. So
good luck to the draft picks.
Yeah,
that's got to be awkward coming.
Best of luck.
Yes,
best of luck. We'll finish by talking a little bit about